Shalom, shalom. This is a brother Amor Wakar. Back with another lesson, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, as always, who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. So, this is a bit of a late one for me, but I'm just going to get into it. It's about, so I'm going to read Revelation 18. Little breakdown, won't take too long, I don't think. And yeah, man, got some precepts on deck. So yeah, let's just get straight into it, man. So yeah, it begins Revelation 18:1. It says, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird." Right, so basically, the angels have been given permission, there's been given power, right, to come down and, put pay to Babylon. And let's go into the Strong's real quick, man. This is in the Greek now, because we're in the New Testament. And that word power.
Strong's G, 1849, exousia.
Now in the Hebrew, that word was Elohim, right, which means power, which a lot of these, people that think they understand the truth, especially these black-only New Testament Israelites, have been known to call the Heavenly Father Yahweh, Elohim, right? But his name is Yahweh, meaning he is, because he has always existed, he's the Ancient of Days. So it says, power of choice, liberty of doing as one pleases, leave or permission, physical and mental power, the power of authority, influence and right of privilege, right? Authority over mankind, right? One who possesses authority. So basically the angel has been given that authority to deal with this. Nothing happens unless the Most High sanctions it, man. It says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation. So Babylon the great, man, alright? That name comes from the ancient Babylon, because, or ancient Babel, when they tried to build that tower, and the Lord had to confuse everything, man. Listen, that place, basically, first and foremost, Babylon is aka America. All right, this is the place. This is why it has to be destroyed, because it is a place of evil and wickedness. It's a place where our people have been, mainly Judah, have been subject to great miseries, man. With all the tribes have been subject to miseries and curses, man. But Babylon is just completely wicked and evil. It sows confusion in the earth. All the wicked and evil doctrine or indoctrinations that are in the earth have come from there. And really, they come from the Edomites, who are the wicked, as the scripture says in Malachi. Verse 3 says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." So all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So that wine, like I was saying previously, their indoctrinations, they spread their rules and their regulations and their way of life amongst the nations, and they impose it upon them. You know, we can get into, you know, when they're talking about all this LGB stuff, wanting to send it to especially those so-called African nations where a lot of Israelites are residing, man. They don't want to go over there and try and indoctrinate them into that, you know. So they're trying to spread, you know, that's one of their main, and we always talk about that because that's one of their main evils, man. That is one of their main agendas, especially in this time. And these other nations have been dealing with Babylon, man, and getting rich off the way they impose themselves and reap benefits from other nations by force, you know. And ultimately they get rich, but who gets richer? Babylon, because the other nations don't really have a choice in dealing with them, man. They have a military bases, hundreds and hundreds of them in hundreds of countries on the earth, so they're in charge, man. Right? It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not her plagues. You know, and that doesn't mean to get up and leave. It means, you know, to come out of her spiritually, man. You know, come out of her spiritually, man. Don't be a partaker of all the indoctrinations, man. Don't fall into the trap like the rest of these heathens, man, and our people. You know. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. Right, let's read here. So I'm going to read it from the top anyway and get to the point, right? It says, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. And who are the nobles? The elites, the rulers of this earth, right? That high mountain is the ruling class, man. Right? I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones from mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. Right? You know. And who rejoices in the highness, man? Is only the elect. Right? And those of a multitude in the mountains, as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdom of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh of hosts mustereth the host of the battle, and the host means army. Like they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Right? Right, and it says what? Where was I? It's like here. And the weapons of his indignation, right? And what are those weapons, man? Those weapons are those missiles, man. Alright, let's see if I can find it straight away. Is it 54? Yeah. Isaiah 54:16 says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. So that smith, you know, smithing is a very age-old skill that not many people use anymore, but the modern day smith would be the scientist, you know, the engineer, you know, those types of men that create things, man, right? And that waster, you know, that's basically dealing with that Oppenheimer, man, who created the atomic bomb, man, that went down on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, man. You know, that's what that's dealing with. Oh, where was it? Back in Isaiah, right? point I want to read here. Right, I'm jumping to 19 now. It says, yeah, let me read here. So 19 it says, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, right? The glory of kingdoms. Why? Because it's upheld as this great nation on the earth. They are deemed as the most powerful nation on the earth. The president is deemed as the most powerful man on the earth, even though he isn't, because behind him you have that shadow government, which is the elites, those that have the real power and the real money, because money at the end of the day is what rules here. Alright, that's why the scripture says the love of money is the root of all evil. These people need as much money as they can get in order to increase their power. It says the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. That was, fire and brimstone, man, flames. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and the dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So yeah, man, the swift destruction of this place is coming, man. Yeah, that's what I wanted to read, because it says, for her sins have reached, this verse 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquity. So let's go to Jeremiah 51. And going back to this Salaki as well, going back to, what was it? Verse 4, so Jeremiah 51 and 6 says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Right? That's not meaning to see, a lot of these jakes are carnally minded, and they think that just means to escape out of, get on a plane and go somewhere, man. Listen, you can't escape judgment, man. If you're going to be destroyed by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua because you're not of the elect, that's what's going to happen. Alright? So it says, and deliver every man his soul, be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, he will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So that wine again is the indoctrination that spreads around the earth, and now all the earth is crazy, man. The world has become mad. People believe in so many unbelievably stupid things now because they've been forced into it, basically, and indoctrinated through the youth. He said, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. And look, man, and why is that? And this is why. Ezekiel 9 and 4 says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So the praying that we lift up to the Lord, begging him to destroy Babylon and get us out of this wicked kingdom, man. This wicked societies that we live amongst. That's what's happening, man. The Lord's hearing that, but it's not directly, man. The angels hear it and they report. And let's get that word mark real quick. There's different marks, man.
Strong's H8420. Tav.
Right, so that's a sign of exemption. So let's put in, let's put that there have been men that have been marked in order to receive exemption from the destruction. And they're already marked. They already have that sign. Just like when, in Exodus, man, in the 12th chapter, when you to paint the blood on your doorpost to receive the exemption from that death angel, which was Yahweh Shai, to receive, that Passover, from death. That's the same thing. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works in the cup which she hath filled to her double. She's going to get absolutely pure destruction, man. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, I am no widow, and I see no sorrow. Which is why the time of the virgin daughter of Babylon, because that country has not been touched militarily by any other nation. They stand at the top, man. They're at the top of the totem pole. Alright? Yeah, let me just check also. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her. Right. This is 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, verse 5. It says, Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. And who's polluted the whole earth with that wickedness? Babylon. Alright, it says, Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me. We just read about that. And the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. That's that mark again, that exemption. The innocents, those that are deemed worthy, that have already been deemed that from the beginning, man, from the foundations of the earth, man, are going to be saved out of it. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. This is two different Egypts we're talking about, man. He done it with the first Egypt and the second Egypt, spiritual Egypt, and Sodom. Alright, because the captivity and the slavery and all the wickedness that was done on our people, man. It says, and I will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. Let's get back to Revelation. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall be well and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning. Yeah, because the business is over, man. Shop shut. it's game over. Once you see America going down, you know that it's a wrap. Because why? Because they're the head nation, according to the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because that's what Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, which is the Edomites, and their foundation is America. It says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. It's not going to take long to destroy that place, man. And just to go back to that point about the desolation, in fact, let's just read it from here. And Chaldea shall be a slacker, let me call it, Jeremiah 15:10. Slacker will be tired, it's late in the day. It says, and Chaldea shall be a spoil, all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. Your mother shall be sore confounded, she that bare you shall be ashamed. And who bare America, man? Great Britain. The English and that went over there. Settlers, as they call them, invaders is what they really are. And built it up from there, man. So the mother is a great so-called Great Britain. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, and dry land and a desert. Because of the wrath of the Lord it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. So you see how many times it's telling you, you can read on and on about that, but see how many times it's telling you that this desolation that comes out, it's never going to be inhabited again, man. It says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of golds and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and of fine linen, and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments, frankincense and wine and oils and fine flour and wheat, and the beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. Right? And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. And that purple and scarlet, man, that's the sign of rulership, especially that purple, man. And that scarlet, man, that's the wickedness, man. Remember, what does Edom stand for? Or what does Edom mean? It means red. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the ship company and ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What sea is like unto this great sea? It's over, man. We're going into a new era, man. It's like I don't want that over there. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh hath avenged you on her. Right, so it says, so what? It says, rejoice, man. We're going to read, and it reads in Revelation 15:1, it says, and I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of Yahweh. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the glory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh, and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord Yahweh Almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. So that's that rejoicing right there, man. You know, why? Because we're finally going to see the destruction of our enemy, you know, up in flames. No more, man. No more. You know, no more of these devils thinking they're over us. No more, you know, they're polluting the earth with their sin and their iniquity and their wickedness. You know, mashing up the minds of the people, just doing all sorts of things and getting away with it, man. There's no riding off into the sunset for Babylon, man, and the Edomites, man. He says, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. I was like, let me read, nearly skipped. And the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon shall be thrown down, and shall be found no more. And let me get a quick precept. Revelation 13:10 says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So that's that violence, man. You know, it's, hey, listen, it's blood for blood in this thing, man. He says, verse 22 says, and the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. No craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. It means the grinding is ceasing, man. That's it. No more business, no more commerce, nothing. Because that's how they rule the earth, with the commerce, with the dollar. They call it the almighty dollar. Well, no, it's the almighty Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that's going to put a stop to all of this, man. Verse 23, just to finish it off now, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And their sorceries is their propaganda, and you know, we keep going over the same thing, but it is what it is. You know, the indoctrination they use, they're very smart with their setup. You know, they spend a lot of money to deceive the nations. They use the media, they use propaganda, they use war. So these are all of the sorceries that, you know, they're involved in. Right, and money is a big part of the technology as well. Technology is probably their main one in this day and age. They're going to be using that very soon with the AI that's out there now. You can deceive many with that. You know, things looking so real with that now. It's dangerous. And that's from just people sitting on their computers at home. Imagine what the people with the power and the money can do. Verse 24 to finish it, says, and in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that was slain upon the earth. Right? What's it say here, man? So, and this is why it's got to go down like this. Numbers 35 and 33 says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Which is why it reads that, man. In her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints, and all that was slain upon the earth. They shed a lot of blood was shed on that land, man. A lot. You know, it's stained, it's seeped, it's deepened within the roots, man, within the soil. Literally, you know, I'm not just talking spiritually. Literally, it's in the soil, man. There's places where they found the traces of that, where they spilled so much blood of the saints, man. So there must, you know, so swift. I'm going to title this video "Swift Destruction for Babylon" is coming. No, so like I'm going to call it "Swift Destruction is coming for Babylon." Anyway, I'm going to close out on that. Lord willing, you find this edifying, and I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Till next time, Shalom.